Yeah, okay. Hi, you guys. Um, please excuse me. Um, I went next door to the new building's pool. I have a friend that lives there, and I really want to live there now because, well, I always wanted to live there once they built it and saw how it was looking. But the square footage in my loft is a lot larger than that one over there, even though I like the architecture and they have a pool. And on days like this, when it's very snowy outside, I don't know if you guys can see that snow. All right. Um, I would love to be in the pool. Okay, I would love to be in the sauna. I actually am thinking about pulling back up my house sauna back in. Ooh, I hate the little creepies. Um, any old who I want to tell y'all about what happened today. Excuse me. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that I always talk about things that didn't go well and how you need to keep the faith and how things will turn up and they will come out right eventually. And yeah, so um, today I got up. I knew it was going to be the storm, so I knew a lot of things were going to be closed. I already had my refrigerator already stocked anyway. Really didn't care too much because I've been eating salads and freaking chicken. So, in a little bit, I'm gonna be juicing and then just water fasting. So, really didn't care too much about that, but I wanted to have it on hand just in case, it takes a long time for everything else to come back, or if we lost the power or something like that. So, yeah, so I had everything together, had my fluids, bought me some extra fluids, boiled some extra water, stuff like that, just to get prepared. If y'all live in the Midwest or y'all live in Canada, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. In those cold temperatures, you know what goes down. Um, Shoot, even in Texas now, shoot, in the States, because the weather's been all over the place, everywhere. Excuse me, y'all, my eyelashes have been like falling off. I shouldn't have been swimming real tough because I put some adhesive where you can just peel it off and put it back on because yeah, I've been taking a lot of photos. And so anyhow, um, I was sitting there. I went, got my stuff ready, got myself prepared for today because I knew I was gonna have to work from home. I had did half of my work because it was data entry. So I got half of my work when I work from home is usually putting in notes, data entry, getting everything ready. So I did just that. I did just that, and you know, um, got everything done. And so, um, I get a call. I get a call from a casting director, and I'm like, okay, hello. I see the number. It looks kind of familiar, but I don't know. It's from a different state. And I'm like, okay. And they're telling me it's for ad commercial. It's for this and that. And I'm like, huh. And they're like, talking. And they're like, well, we just need to get your information, get everything back up to date. So I went and did that. And then I got off the phone. And then I began talking to the talent agency that I was with. So they didn't even know because I thought I got it from the talent agency. They didn't even know that I actually got the doggone job. Okay, so the reason why they ended up connecting to me was because of my Instagram account. Um, I do have an Instagram account. It's called The Real Beldine. It's been up for like since I think like 2012, but I really don't put a lot on there, especially since my transition and going through all this stuff. Just been trying to get my mind right, get everything financially, everything else focused. And so I get that done, and they're like, one of the representatives from the talent agency is like, how did you get this? Most of the times they need someone with a background, in pageantry and fashion, at least 10 years. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, little do you know, like, look at my resume, you'll see that I've had that for years, just because I don't say a lot or I don't talk about it a lot like most people do, which is okay if they do, because that's their life. It's not like one is bigger than the other. Doesn't mean it, but just because I don't say anything doesn't mean that I don't do anything. And it was like, oh, it's a great accomplishment. And then they're like, so we're gonna look and see, and make sure that they really want that. And I'm like, well, you know, because I'm telling y'all this, if I'm with a talent agency, and because most of them do this, whether you find your jobs or not, they still want a percentage. If I've got this before I've signed my contract papers for the next re-up, then I don't owe, and I'm a free agent. I'm not doing none of that. It's not happening. And legally, I don't have to. But that's not what this conversation is about. So they're like, we're gonna get back to you to make sure that they, this is what they, and they're like, yeah, well, they come back and they're like, yeah, and then they're like, well, we got to put you at a different tier now. And I'm like, a different tier? They're like, yeah, because lo and behold, I'm not getting any advertisements. All these other people are getting other advertisements, and they put me on a lower spectrum based off of what they thought that I only had. What I put on my resume, I put on everything on that resume. And I guess they only took me for what they believed that I had. And then once they started investigating, looking at my resume, looking at the videos on other people's pages, looking at me doing shows and stuff for like different things for our basketball teams and stuff like that, for my makeup line. Then they're like, oh, we gotta put you at this different tier. And so I just had to laugh at it, and it's like, okay, I'm at a point in my life where if things happen, that's great. And if they don't, that's great too. But I'm learning to be content and persistent at what God has taught me to do. God has told me to do a certain thing. I need to do that, whether I get applause from it or whether I don't. Y'all, righteousness always comes out winning. I'm telling you, when you do stuff the right way, when you go about it the right way, you don't have to brag. You don't have to do anything like that. I remember, and I know I talk about this gentleman a lot, but I talk about my great uncle who is still currently a millionaire. And I talk about him because a lot of the things that he does, I admire how he goes about business. And he taught me a lot about business, y'all, about business, not only business, but life and how to operate out of God's will. You're supposed to be steadfast, unmovable, and that in order to be like that, you have to continuously do what it is that you are supposed to do, whether you're tired, whether your back hurts, whether you don't have nobody supporting you, whether you have the world supporting you, whether you feel sick, you feel good, you feel depressed, you feel down. Everybody always talk about these feelings and everything, but truth be told, life goes on, and you have to learn how to balance those things. When people try to knock you off your square, what they try to do is get you focused on your emotions. They try to get you to focus on something that you're weak at, that they know they can tap into and make you bothered in, so that you can take your focus off the things that you are stronger in and take your focus off of moving forward. If they can take your focus off of moving forward, then you're stuck and you don't go anywhere. And so, yeah, just keep going. That taught me, righteousness really does win. Just keep going. Another thing is, y'all, that I ended up having a conversation. I had another conversation with someone that I worship this person, the ground that they walked on. So I might have to make a video on idolatry, but anywho. And I thought this person was really for me until I started peeling back the layers and I started going to therapy and seeing how people can take real good shots at you. People who really, they can act like they like you, but they don't like you because they see a gift and they want something from you, how nice they can be and be manipulative. Like, it took me 2 or 3 years for just to break through from that person, because when I first heard it, I was like, oh no, and they down talked me like, no, you're over exaggerating, y'all. Okay, but anywho, I ended up talking to another person from my past who, at that time I thought was like a mentor, and honestly, even though things didn't work out the way that I thought that they should work out, it worked out for the best. Because she really was a mentor. She taught me how to look out for these things. Everything comes in for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. You know, God tells us not to be observant in all things, not to be dumb, you know. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that. And when I got into that field, I learned people can be very um, nasty nice and nice nasty. And she was nice nasty. Um, Meaning that she would say all the nice things and would do anything to stab a person in the back, to manipulate them, to anything to get ahead, anything to benefit their cause. You know, I remember going behind them, acting, feeling like I'm doing something greater and helping them build other people up, when in reality they was just trying to build themselves up. You know, but in the long run, that helped me get into the field that I'm in now. So I can't say that it was a bad thing. It was actually a good thing. It was something that God designed. But I'm telling y'all what happened. So this person, I started talking to them, and they're like, we're talking and stuff, and I ended up talking about, no, we started talking about North Carolina, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, how I used to live in Charlotte, you know, and I've already told this person that I lived in Charlotte. And it's like, oh, I thought you were in like Charleston, North Carolina. I'm looking like, I don't even think it's a Charleston, North Carolina. It's a Charleston, South Carolina, but you know, last time I checked, I thought it wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong, you know. But I was just like, okay. And soon as they found out that I was still doing good, because they tried to hint off, well, you know, I had this vision of you, you know, doing this project and doing this and doing that, which that vision was right on spot, y'all. When they said they seen the vision, it was right on spot. But I'm not a dummy to tell somebody that I know that is against me that, you know, I'm like, oh no, no. And even if it was, I'm not gonna go and confirm nothing, because that's in God's will. If it's true, then it's gonna happen. I don't have to say nothing. I don't have to say nothing. I've learned that, you know, even telling other people what I see. Um, and so she gets on there and she's going in like, yeah, well, you know, and I was like, I slipped up and was like, oh yeah, I want it, because this is afterwards, you know, as we're talking today. I'm like, yeah, well, actually, you know, I'm free to say out, you know, because it's over. It can't be touched now. It's already done. Can't be changed. Nothing. And but we ended up talking, and I ended up slipping and talking about some other adventures that I was going into. And this person switched, okay? When I say switch, this person did the old switcheroo. If I didn't know any better and I didn't know their MO, I would have been so set up. I would have been so set up to fail, because this person, all of a sudden, they wanted to have more connections with me. I couldn't have no conversations with them if they thought I was doing bad, y'all. And it was nothing to benefit them. Soon as they found out that I was doing good without them, because they done told all these people I'm just this, I'm that, done painted a whole picture, acting what they thought that I didn't know. But people started telling me, that's how you know. People started seeing you for your actions. You ain't gotta say nothing. You ain't gotta fight it. Just keep doing what you're doing. They will see. People will see like, that ain't adding up. And they started telling me, and I'm like, okay. I don't get mad at when they tell me either, because what you gonna do? And what you gonna combat against them? Half of those people who telling you believed it at some point in time. So yeah, that's just for your records. But anyhow, they going in, they're talking, you know, maybe we should meet up and we should. I don't even know if I had time. I had to cut it off. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I'll have time, but I will if I can, you know. And thank you, and cut it off. But this person was hitting me in different spots. How they was trying to talk about, oh well, you know, you did lose a little bit of weight. Yeah, you looking good, but you're looking a little too busty at the top, or you know, why? Oh yeah, they asked about my career changes too. Why? How are you dealing with the homeless and doing pageantry? That's like on different spectrums. How would your people feel about that? I said the same way that they've been feeling. But what do you mean? I've been doing this for so long. You knew when I met you, I was in pageantry. When I was homeless, I was in pageantry. When I got out of homelessness, I was in pageantry. So, I've been in pageantry since I was young, when I was in school. And so, that just really just baffles me. And I said, you know what? I got to the point I was like, you know what? If I didn't know any better, I would have kept going and trying to defend it. I said, well, you know what? That seemed like you got a problem with what I'm doing, but you got to take that up with God. I don't got nothing to do with that, because God already let me know that what I'm doing is okay. So it seemed like you got a problem, and you got to take that up with God. I don't deal with none of that other stuff. And I was like, okay, I already see that those are shots. If that was the old me, I would have been like, well, why this person didn't want to harm me. This is the older person. They couldn't be this way. Yeah, baby, they will be that way. But you got to think about it like this. Just stay level-headed. Don't even get into a battle. Just do what you need to do. I'm telling you, righteousness, it never fails. If it did, I wouldn't have been able to get that call. I wouldn't have been able to get that contract without paying the agency fee, and I wouldn't be able to move the way that I move. So, y'all, be smooth. Stay on the course. Stay focused. Don't let these people tell you anything different. Some of these people are watching you. They're hating on you, and they really following you. They admire you. They following you. So just stay righteous, because you're gonna help. Not only you're gonna shine above all of them, but you're gonna help people understand the power of God. That's the main thing that you want to do anyway. You want to have people to accept the power and the magnitude of God. Because if you stay focused and you stay the course and you do what He tells you to do, regardless if you believe Him or not, if you follow His precepts. Listen, when they say it rain on the just as well as the unjust, yes, all those blessings. If you follow them principles, because He put His word above His name, you're gonna have results. You're gonna have results. You're gonna have results. Okay, and so yeah, just try to do the right things, to try to live right. I'm gonna get off of here. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem, and thank you so much. Bye. Oh no, it doesn't want to end.